Welcome back to the channel. Today I'm filling in for Alfie. This is my take on the 7 best England strikers of all time. To categorise this list, we've gone deep into the stats, the memories, the men themselves who scored goals for the 3 Lions down the years. Also, we just looked at these lads and knew the list wasn't that hard to make. Geoff Hurst. You score a hat-trick in a World Cup final and win England's only trophy ever, and you don't come number 1 in the list? It shows you that despite success in the final, Hurst was hardly Alf Ramsey's first pick as striker. He's never been considered the most skillful or quality of England strikers. No offence to a living legend, it's just how it is. He didn't start for England at the tournament. It took Jimmy Greaves to get an injury to give him a starting slot against Argentina in the quarterfinals and Germany in the final, where he actually scored. But he never failed to look like a threat. On his day, he was a natural finisher, and he scored actually 1 in 2 for England, about 24 goals in 49 appearances. He was one of those guys who could just do a job, so much so that he even played professional cricket for 1 match in 1962, an all-rounder in more ways than one. Jimmy Greaves. It says a lot that the only England trophy winners on this list are 6th and 7th. It says that Jimmy Greaves was brilliant, as was his England career, but also that England produced 5 better strikers and still didn't go on to win any trophies at all. Shambles. A fantastic natural finisher, Greaves scored some goals for fun throughout his club and international career. He played for Chelsea, Milan, Tottenham and West Ham and scored 44 times in 57 appearances for England. That's a very, very good ratio if you're bad at maths. He scored his country's only goal on his debut at a 4-1 loss to Peru in 1959. He scored at the World Cup in 1962 against Argentina. If you score against Argentina in any year, it makes you an England legend, and he did that in the 1962 World Cup. Injury denied him the chance to contribute to England's 1966 triumph beyond the group stage, but his record is impossible to argue with. Harry Kane. Harry Kane is yet to win a major trophy as a player, and ironically, the closest he's ever come is being 1-0 up in a World Cup semi-final and then refusing to square it to Raheem Sterling. That tournament he finished top goal scorer, which is no mean feat with players like this playing. In World Cup qualifiers, he scored 5 and 6. In Euro qualifiers, he's got 9 and 9 in total. And for England, he's got 26 and 41. Wayne Rooney's only on 53 and 120, and surely Harry Kane will surpass him, as long as he stays fit, and maybe if Raheem Sterling squares the ball back to him every now and then. Gary Lineker. Only Wayne Rooney and Bobby Charlton scored more times for England than Gary Lineker, whose 48 strikes in 80 gave him a superior goals to ratio than both men. He was at Everton at the time when he won the Golden Boot in 1986, and he got a hat-trick against Poland, a brace against Paraguay, and even a goal against Argentina. As I said earlier, that makes him a legend anyway. Despite not scoring at Euro 1988, he bounced back with 4 goals at Bobby Robson's 1990 World Cup squad. He's famous for beefing Piers Morgan on Twitter, scoring loads of tap-ins, and being the main man at Walkers. I heard that his favourite kind of crisp was salt and vinegar, and that's why he can't be number 1. Alan Shearer. He scored on his debut against France in 1992, but injury restricted his involvement in the qualifying campaign for the 1994 World Cup. By 1996, Shearer was the focal point of the team. He netted 5 goals the last time England hosted a major tournament. He scored twice in the 1998 World Cup, and he eventually retired at Euro 2000. The guy was famous for that one-hand celebration, and perhaps, if he'd been luckier with the management and players around him, he could have fired England closer to a trophy than anyone else. Unfortunately, it never happened, and instead, he hopped onto Twitter to slag Michael Owen off. Michael Owen. Owen burst onto the scene in 1998, scoring against Romania and Argentina to win the Young Player of the Tournament award. Him and Bobby Charlton are the only English players to pick up such a trophy in international football. He picked up goals in the Euro 2000s, World Cup 2002 and Euro 2004, but ultimately injury slowed down his goal returns. However, despite this, he still got 40 and 89. He gave England fans some incredible memories, and at his peak, he was simply unplayable. And despite his boring commentary, he was one of the most scintillating players England ever produced. If it wasn't for injuries, surely he'd be number 1 and arguably a World Cup winner himself. Wayne Rooney. I might get some stick for this, but on his day, Wayne Rooney is the most naturally gifted and one of the most decorated English strikers of all time. And despite a lack of trophies at England level, he still became the highest England goal scorer of all time, despite having strike partners like this, and even playing in midfield with the likes of these guys. On his day, he could operate at a world-class level, and he was also a naturally gifted goal scorer. 53 in 119, with a lot of those performances coming off the wing, or when he was a very, very young striker, is quite incredible. Put it this way, any England team of any era would be lucky to have Wayne Rooney in their side. He was that good, in my opinion. Maybe the only issue with Wayne Rooney is he had the misfortune of being maybe the best player in his generation and still having to be coached by this guy. That's been my pick for the best English strikers of all time. Does Wayne Rooney strike you as the correct call? Sorry for the pun. Should Kevin Davies at least got in at 7th? Did I miss anyone out? Let me know in the comments below and we'll see you soon.